सलाम मेरे अजीज पंखों।
My babies, my son, the world feels so unreal. The feeling was he could not believe that his dream has come true when he almost lost his hope. My babies, my life, daddy's life. He kissed the baby all over his face, and just then the other born started crying. A soft chuckle left on her mouth. Wiping her tears, she picked up the baby and gave him to Jungkook. He held them carefully and kissed his second born and juggled that his heart while cheering continuously for her. For his eyes, her lips held the most beautiful smile on his face. Sana could see the happiness on Jungkook's face. He looked like he got the whole world in his palm. The brightest smile and tears were the proof of his happiness. Sana never thought that his happiness and smile would touch her heart this much that she would regret it. Only if she could his happiness long ago. Only if she could. Wiping her tears, she walked out of the room as she felt like crying for the loss of their children and their daughter. He could not hold even for a second. He leaned against the wall and cried, covering her mouth. The worst punishment is the guilt and regret anyone could get. She knew the guilt and regret will never go for leave her. Jungkook stepped into the room with a heartbeat. It was going to see there after 9 months. He slowly looked up, only for his breath to stuck on his chest. They were staring at him with shocked eyes. They were sitting on the bed, waiting for the nurse or anyone to come. He asked about the children. With every step, his heartbeat was increasing. He stood in front of Day while the eyes filled up. He looked down as tears fall from his eyes. He sat beside Day, staring at his face. Jungkook was staring at Day like there was no tomorrow. They slowly looked up and down, a waterfall for his eyes, looking at his emotional and baleful eyes. Taehyung again looked down. Jungkook held the chin and made they look up. He didn't want to say anything, or more like the words was not coming out of his mouth. Everything felt so unreal and like a beautiful dream that it just didn't want to say anything which could break his dream. Wiping their tears, he cupped the face. He turned his head a little. A single tear escaped his eyes. They threw his arm around his neck and pulled him in a hug. They started crying, wring his face in his chest. He didn't hug Thea as he felt he would disappear in his health. Wrapping his arms around Thea, he held Thea closer, and every emotion he held wall. He cried, remembering the moment they left him. He cried, remembering all the painful night he spent in their room alone. He cried cause he didn't cry all this time. He was holding that emotion in him and almost made him living. They rubbed his back, trying to calm him as they felt his breathing heavy. They remembered that he had a breakdown a couple of months ago and was afraid of his health. Cook, please, don't cry. I'm right here. He pulled back and held his face. He was not looking at They wiped his face before kissing his forehead and then both eyes and cheeks and nose before putting their forehead on his. They wanted to love him. They wanted to feel him closer, while he just sat there silently, living the moment of love again. We have twins. I meet them. He whispered back, making they went. I could not. They said, pouting, I want to meet my babies. Our babies. He kissed their forehead. They jungled things to talk about, or more like anger to get out of they. But for now, he just wanted to live the moment of being the parents with his day. Jungkook walked out of the room to get the babies to meet their mother. He, on his step as he found Sana standing a little away from the room, with twins in her hand. He slowly walked toward her. She looked at him and pounded the twins to him. He held them carefully. I'm going back to Seoul. Just wait for you to hand them. Sana. He tried off as he didn't know what to say. It's okay, Jungkook. You can spend your time with your children. They deserve your time more than anyone, and you deserve to be with him, he said. And Sana felt the tug in his heart that he knew always think about herself, and now this Sana was thinking about other. That was new for him. She always thought that Jungkook times only belongs to her. Sana never thought of anyone if she wanted to be with him. Thank you. They told me how you help him. If you were not there, we could have stopped the only thought of loving day, and his child shook his head to the core. Thank you so much, he said with a bright smile on his face. After so many months, he smiled at her. Smana smiled back a little. I did that for my daughter, whom I lost. A lone tear escaped her eyes as she remembered about her daughter. The twins made her smile, and both at the same time, the daughter she lost was another pain. We lost. He corrected her, and his eyes almost moist with the memories of his daughter, who he, with his hand, his first child, his daughter. Don't think about her now. You deserve this happiness. She turned to leave. I will come home soon. She hid. Before walking away from there, she stopped behind the wall and turned to look at him. He stood there staring at the way she left before looking down at his child, and a wide smile on his lips. He turned and walked toward their room. Hassan stood there for some time before heading out. I was waiting for him to bring my sons to me, impatiently. I could not wait any longer to see them. Of my unconditional love just then. The door opened and Jungkook walked inside, making my heart beat stop. My breath ached in my thought. My eyes were glued at the babies. In his hand, he was walking toward me with slow steps, and I silently stared at him, without reaching till the seat beside me. Our babies. He announced, bringing me out of my trace. I look up at him, and my eyes are moist with happiness. I forward my hands toward him. He placed one baby in my hand. He held them closer to my head, and forward them, other hold the babies, and he handed me two carefully. I stared at them. They're pretty and beautiful. At the end, whose son's there? I looked up and found him adjusting his collar with a proud smile on his face. I bit my lips. Mine. I started making him realize and raise his eyebrows. Really? They're my copy, he informed me, and I looked down and glanced at the features. As before, I was just lost, admiring them. They're like you. I'm a pouting. Jungkook chuckled. That's why they're beautiful, he said proudly. Am I not beautiful? I asked with a sad face. He smiled with many emotions in his eyes. My eyes can answer your questions. Slightly, blush graced my cheeks, seeing the emotion in his eyes. I looked down in my arms at our sons. My eyes teared up again. Our love symbol, look, I whispered. The proof of our pure relationship. Tears slipped on my eyes as I chuckled. Our Jungkook wrapped his arms around us. I thought we could never get the moment with you. I thought if we could never be able to know our twins' existence. He pulled back and looked at me with pain in his eyes. You have tried very well to not let me know about my children, but God has shown His mercy on me, he said with a gesture in his voice. But now eyes on our babies.